Hi everybody, and welcome to the 2021 KiteFoil World Series here in wonderful Italy at Hang Loose Beach here in Gizzeria in the wonderful region of Calabria. This is the 10th time that we have kite racing here at this spot. It's a great anniversary to have here. This place is known for its consistent thermal and flat water winds, perfect for KiteFoil racing. The KiteFoil World Series is an open World Series, so there's no gear restrictions, and there are 5 events planned this year. The schedule for this year, obviously here we are in the first act in Gizzeria in Italy. The next one will be in Austria in September at the Traunsee. Very different conditions. The third act will be back in here in Italy in Sardinia in October, followed by the next event in Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands in November. And at the end of November, the finals will be held on Gran Canaria in Maspalomas. Here we have what happened back in 2019 for the series. Axel Mazzella being the series champion at the end of 4 events. Nico Parlier close behind him, and Maxime Nochet rounding out the top 3. Theo de Ramacour winning the last event, but not enough to put him on top. Tony Vodisek down in 9th place. If you see, he actually won the first 3 events of the series. Why didn't he become the champion? Because we see in Cagliari he had a horrible crash, injuring his shoulder, and that ended with him ending in 9th because he was not able to continue. This year, however, Tony's doing very well. He is 3rd at the moment and has every chance of catching up. If we look at the standings as they stand at the moment here, we have Denis Taradin, who's been having a very good race so far with 16 points, sitting in 1st place. He won the last race yesterday, and he is very stoked to defend his 1st place. However, his lead has shrunk. He's only 2 points ahead of Axel Mazzella from France. Also on ozone on Chibang equipment. So Axel will be pushing hard today to try to catch Denis. And then behind them in 3rd place, the man to watch, Tony Vodisek from Slovenia, number 120. He is 10 points adrift. However, there are discards to be had, plus there's 3 more races today, so we can see if he can catch Axel or Denis. It's a hard job, but it's still possible. Followed by Connor Bainbridge. We will be racing in 8 minutes, so let's have a short break, and I'll come back and explain the course.
The R5, built to win.
And we're back. So 7.5 minutes to the start. Let's actually have a look at the women's gold fleet. The women's are being led by American Daniela Moros from Flysurfer and Levitas, followed by Poema Nuland from France, and followed by the UK's Ellie Aldridge, last year's European champion. In 4th place, French Alexia Francelli, and 5th, Gisela Pulido from Spain. In the juniors, Maximilian Mader from Singapore is having an excellent race, managing to get a second yesterday in Gold Fleet, sitting nicely atop with a huge lead in your junior fleet, followed by Arthur Les from France and Christian Manev from Bulgaria in third place. In the Masters, Ejder Guignol from Turkey is leading the Masters with a total of 136 points. James Johnson still in second place. However, he is injured. He got injured in the group phase in a collision. He will try to race today, but they're still not clear. We might be interviewing him later. Followed by number 3, Dimitri Maramidis from Greece in third place in Silver Fleet. He will not have a chance to move up to catch James, so these standings are probably locked in. Today we will be running the LP2 course. That is an upwind, downwind, starting line, counterclockwise around the upwind mark, through the gate. Riders can choose to go either starboard or port, back up, round the gate last time, through the gate, to the finishing line on a full speed reach. The course is 1.3 nautical miles long, and it takes about 15 to 18 minutes to finish the race, depending on the wind. The wind today, at the moment, it's 11 to 13 knots on the water. Yesterday, it started light. However, the wind picked up to be at the strongest, about 25 knots, 28 knots gusts yesterday. Riders on their 11-meter kites fully lit up. We will be starting in about less than 5 minutes for Gold Fleet race number 6. All right, so let's have a look at what happened yesterday.
Well, today is the third day of the races, and you have like 100 people and the best of the best of the best here. So today, it's another day. We're separating two groups, 50-50. We're on the silver. I am on the silver group, and the best 50 on the gold group. I'm on the silver group, so let's hope for the best. But they're so good and so many people on the course that luck is a lot to do with it.
Just wanna see myself do racing without mistakes. So it's like I'm racing with myself. If I don't do mistakes, I'm happy. If I do mistakes, I'm not happy with myself. I'm not looking at anybody else. So it's Tony against Tony. Let's see which Tony will come on top.
Today we raced in the Gold Fleet. It was way more challenging than in the qualifying series, as we have the best riders out of two fleets racing together. Challenging starts, did a few mistakes, so I had the lead yesterday of 4 points, today 2 points to Axel Mazella. We have 3 more races tomorrow, and going to do everything I can to keep the first place.
So welcome back. At the moment, the AP flag is up. They're having to change some things on the course, so the riders are all waiting. While we do that, let's have a look at some of the riders we have here in the top 10 in the Gold Fleet. So, currently in the lead, we have Dennis Taradin, born in 1996. His best result so far, he came first in the Formula Kite Asian Champions in Binhai, China. He is on Ozone and Chubanga equipment, and his number is 117. In second place behind him, the Frenchman Axel Mazella, born 1997. He's 2019 KiteFoil World Series champion. Also on Ozone kites and Chubanga foils, and his number 69. We also have Connor Bainbridge from the UK. He was 6th in the KiteFoil World Series previously in 2019. Born 1993. He is on F1 kites and Chubanga foils. His number 30. Also on Gold Fleet, Jannis Maus from Germany. Born 1996. His best result was 7th in the 2020 Formula Kite Mixed Relay Championships. He is on Fly Surfer Kites and Levitas and has the sail number 104. From Croatia, we have Martin Dolenc, born in 2000. His best result was 4th in the KiteFoil European Championships. He is also on Fly Surfer Kites and Levitas foils. Look out for sail number 7. Maxime Nochet from France is also there, currently in 7th place, born 1994. He probably has the most world titles of all these riders, involving freestyle, old formula style kite racing, KiteFoil, Gold Cup titles, World Cup titles, World Championship titles. This man has done it all. He is on his own brand Flymax and Chubanga foils with a sail number of 112. And also, super famous, 4 times Formula Kite World Champion, Nicolas Parlier, born 1995. On Ozone kites and Chubanga foils with a sail number of 100. Last year's European champion, 2020 KiteFoil European Championship, Theodor Ramicourt, born 1997, with the sail number 64. And obviously the man to watch here, trying to repair what happened to him in 2019, Tony Vodicek, born 2000, first place in the 2019 World Championship Gizzeria, winning all except one of the KiteFoil World Series 2019 on Ozone kites and Levitas with the sail number 120. We are back in sequence, 2.5 minutes to the start. Let's have a short break and join us for the start of Gold Fleet Race. First one of today. Right, 2 minutes to the start. The riders are all lining up. The wind is still pretty light, between 11 and 13 knots. We are running Gold Fleet, race number 6. After that will be Silver Fleet, race number 6. The difference between Gold and Silver Fleet are, the Gold Fleet are the first 50 after the 2 days of qualifications we had. We have basically got then the best riders out of those blue and yellow groups. And the Silver Fleet are the bottom 49 out of the 99 competitors we have in this race. We will still race them because it is great experience to still race against people of the similar level. Again, in this fleet we have Dennis Taradin, who's currently leading with 16 points netto, followed by Axel Mazel from France, only 2 points behind, followed by Tony Vodicek with 28 points, so 10 points behind Axel. It is still wide open between Axel and Dennis, so it will be interesting to see. Yesterday we had quite a few port tack starters using that lift we were getting from closer to the beach at the headland. the tactic that worked well yesterday was actually not starting on port tack, but starting on starboard. And as soon as they cross the starting line, they will tack out and head back towards the beach into the headland. That was the tactic that almost every single one of the winners used, with the exception of one race where Dennis Taradin started on port and managed to carry the win home very easily. 20 seconds to start. Looks like almost everybody except one are on starboard. Let's see what tactics will be used. I am assuming that the leaders will be doing a short run on starboard and immediately tacking off the fleet and will be heading back towards the beach on port, going for that lift closer to the beach. Here we go. We have a start. Actually, 3 port starts from the fly surfer guys. Fly surfer kites, yellow, gray, and black. So 3 of them started port. The others tacked out. Also, going on port, 2 F1 kites. Probably Connor Bainbridge, Benoit Gomez. Also, 2 Ozones there, both orange. Probably Dennis Taradin, the way it looks, and Axel Masella. They look like they're on pretty big kites at the moment, 21s or 18s. The fly surfers seem to be having a bit of an angle advantage at the moment, pushing out forward. Trying to figure out from their helmets and from their boards who's who, but the way it looks in the front, we got yellow and board. That could be Lorenzo Boschetti, or Boschetti, I've been told. The other fly surfer, blue helmet, it's hard to tell. We have a great drone shot here. You can see the 3 leaders at the moment. The way it looks, it's Lorenzo Boschetti, followed by 2 other fly surfers, looking like light-colored helmets. Could be, very well, Yannis Maus. Yannis Maus has a yellow helmet and a black board. I don't think it's Maximilian Mader. He has a red helmet with a very reflective visor. It could be Guy Bridge. Guy Bridge also has a light-colored helmet. We will get definite confirmations once those guys round the weather mark. Then we will know the numbers. They are about to hit the beach. They will be tacking within the next 10 or 20 seconds. We also have to see. From this angle, it is very hard to see who's actually leading. There are riders up higher on the fleet, which will be crossing the first tackers. So here we can see first tack from the ozone. Multicolor board. That could be Alessio Brasili. The F1 is tacked. The way it looks, that is Connor Bainbridge. Or Benoit Gomez. They both have gray or white boards and light-colored helmets. Tony Vodicek in that group, just tacked, but is wrapping his wingtip. Followed by another F1, possibly Connor Bainbridge or Benoit Gomez. So out front we have the fly surfer, followed by the black ozone, possibly Axel Mazella, another fly surfer kite, yellow helmet, that is very likely Yannis Maus, and Maxime Nochet on the red Flymax. Once they get to that upwind mark, the referee boat will be telling us who those riders are. The purple kite from Nico Parlier, also quite far up front. It looks like these guys will have to do 2 more tacks. I don't think they are on the ley line. We will have to see. So out front, the fly surfer of has made it around. So, in first place, number 17. Followed by Axel. No, followed by Theodor Ramicourt on the fly surfer. Followed by Nicolas Parlier. Those are our top three. It's number 7, Martin Dolenc in the front. Martin Dolenc from Croatia, currently leading. Followed by Theodor Ramicourt. Followed by the purple kite from Nicolas Parlier. The wind is still pretty light. About 9 to 11 knots at the moment. This is limiting the speed a little bit. But it's very close between Theo and Martin Dolenc. Theo going for his jibe. Martin going for his jibe now too. Maxime jibing now also. Let's see who the leader is. Is that Martin Dolenc still, followed by Theo? The fly surfer seems to have a massive lead. We're zooming in a bit closer, trying to see that board and helmet color. The way that looks. No, that is green helmet. I would assume that is not Martin Dolenc. There are a couple of riders from Silverfleet in the middle of the course, which is making things a bit confusing. Where we have the leaders coming in towards the gate. So, on the green board, we have Theodor Ramicourt going for his jibe around the gate. So, Theodor Ramicourt from France, currently leading, followed closely behind by Nicolas Parlier and Martin Dolenc. Tony Vodicek in 4th. No, I'm wrong. That is the white kite of Axel Mazella in 4th. Maxime Nochet with the red kite. Most of the riders choosing to go away from the beach this time, going for a tack out. They are probably going to try to tack relatively late, head out, and tack close to the weather mark to make sure they get it. So currently the Frenchman, Theodor Ramicourt, last year's European champion, out in front, followed by Martin Dolenc, number 7, and then followed by Axel Mazella and Nicolas Parlier. Nico has tacked, so have both fly surfers from Theo and Martin. Nico actually seems to be having a bit of an advantage here. He looks like he has pulled ahead a little bit, but Theo is higher up in the wind by a good 50 yards. And Martin going for a bit more speed. A bit lower. That actually, no, that is not Martin. That is Yannis Maus with the yellow helmet. It's quite close racing here. Nico has done very well to push through and get up into second place. He seems to be having very good upwind speed and very good upwind angle. Here on the bottom we see Yannis Maus, quite far down but good speed, followed by the Flymax. But up front, a little bit higher, probably Theo de Ramicourt. Nico going for attack, but it looks like he's gotten a bit stuck, but he's made it around quite well. He's off frame at the moment, but I've seen that he's just tacked. Looks like it was a very good idea to go for that long tack out. It would be good if we can get the long lens on the purple kite that's currently leading. Here we have Maxime, followed by Connor Bainbridge and the rest of the fleet. Nico has gone for an early tack. He's going to be tacking one more time. He's trying to get closer to the gate so he can round it. However, some of the other riders are aiming for the ley line. They're going a bit for longer. Here we have Nico Parlier pushing. Is he still in the lead, or have the tactics of Theo de Ramicourt and Martin Dolench paid off? Yannis Maus also up there. He went for more speed, less angle, trying to hit the ley line a bit farther down. We will see who makes it up, but Nico is quite close to the weather mark. Let's see if he'll be crossing any of the other of the fly surfers or his ozone teammate Axel Mazella as they come back up. Also coming through the frame at the moment, Theo Lostis from Tahiti. Behind Nico, we have an F1, possibly Connor Bainbridge or Benoit Gomez. The white kite, Axel Mazella and Maxime with the red kite, and the fly surfers are heading on the ley line. It looks like they have overtaken Nico. Let's see if they can make the weather mark or if they're going to have to tack two more times. I don't think they have. They're going to have to tack twice more. Nico might still be in the advantage here. So, no, Axel Mazella has made it around. So Axel Mazella in the lead. Oh, we missed something. So, Martin Dolench actually rounded the mark first, according to the referee boat. So we missed him rounding it, followed by Axel Mazella on the white ozone. So out front, actually looking like the green board of Theo de Ramicourt, followed by Martin Dolench, followed by Axel Mazella. Can we have an update, please? So, the way it looks here, we have Theo de Ramicourt in first, followed by Martin Dolench, followed by Axel Mazella in third. Fourth place, it's quite possibly Yannis Maus. And tight battle for 5th place at the moment. Maxime Nochet and Flysurfer. I cannot see from here who that is. Theo going for his jibe. He will have to jibe at least 2 more times to get through the gate. Followed by we believe Martin Dolenc. And the white kite of Axel Masella. We have all 3 riders currently on port. They're going to have to jibe 1 more time to get through that gate. I see a slight advantage here for Martin. Here we go. Theo passing through the gate. Theo in first place. And let's see, Axel or Martin Dolenc in second. Let's see who gets through that gate first. And it's Axel Mazella in second, followed by Martin Dolenc from Croatia. Looks like a pretty easy cruise in for Theo de Ramacour from France, getting his first bullet of the day. Followed by Axel Mazella, also from France. Followed by Croatia's Martin Dolenc. Good race, man.
Thanks.
All right, I'm here with the winner today, Theo de Ramacour from France. Tell us how it went.
Yeah, it's a really good race. It was really fun. The wind is pretty shifty. There is a big difference between like offshore and like close to the shore. Like there are kind of 2 different winds, and yeah, I'm really happy I managed to play with this. And yeah, well, I'm
What kite size are you on?
flying my 21, and yeah, it's really time I was a little bit underpowered. I was for sometimes was very close. Nice.
Done. Good luck for the rest of the race.
DR5, built to win.
Okay. All right, I'm here with second place, Martin. Actually third place today with Martin. How did the race go?
Yeah, it was really good. I had a good start, and then after that I came first to the top mark, but then on the first downwind I lost to Theo because I went a little bit over the ley line, and then on the second downwind Axel passed me as well. But I think it was my best race so far, and I'm quite happy with this result. Yeah,
It looked like you were quite in control. So are you hoping to get some more third places?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get one first place, of course, but yeah, a couple of top 3 spots would be really awesome. Yeah,
On 21
yeah, 21 is perfect now.
for the rest of the race.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, so that was a pretty hard race for the riders. As Theo said, the wind is a bit shifty and patchy out there. It hasn't quite kicked in yet. So let's have a look at a few highlights. So here we have the start. We have 4 of the Fly Surfer riders choosing to start on port. Some of the riders tacking out immediately, also joining them on that port. But as Theo said, the advantage was actually from the riders who went a bit farther outside. Here we actually have the first rounding with Martin Dolench rounding the mark first, but Theo de Ramacour, hot on his heels, managing to overtake him on the downwind, followed by Nicolas Parlier. At the bottom of the gate, we see Theo had managed to catch Martin and overtake him. Nicolas Parlier managing to stay in third with his teammate Axel Mazella close on his heels. On the upwind, Axel Mazella managed to catch his teammate Nicolas Parlier, overtake him, and be ahead of him around the weather mark. And Theo de Ramacour overtaking his Fly Surfer teammate, completely opening up a large gap, and then taking the win home easily for race number 1 from the Gold Fleet. Here we have Theo cruising in the win. So, that was the first race of today, which is race number 6 for the Gold Fleet. It won't change very much in the standings of the top 3. Just have to see where Dennis ended up in comparison to Axel, but Axel gaining possibly 1 or 2 points on Dennis. It'll be interesting to see if that has changed the lead or not. Silver Fleet is on the water at the moment. They're racing around. They're currently in their race. Yesterday, Danish man Emil was doing extremely well. He winning 4 of the 5 races we ran. He's one of the newer young guys, Emil Beckett. His father is also racing in the Masters and Grandmasters. And he will be trying to move up in the rankings because he actually missed the first 5 races in the qualifying series. He is actually good enough to be in the Gold Fleet. But at the moment, he is proving how good he is in the Silver Fleet. The amazing thing on the Silver Fleet also is that in the top 10 of the Silver Fleet, there are, in third place, Anne-Louise Lammerts from the Netherlands in third place at the moment. Maddie Anderson in 5th place. We have Sofia Tomassoni from Italy in 8th place. So, and if we count Alina Corneli in 11th place, we have quite a lot of women doing very well in the Silver Fleet, really charging up there in speeds with the men. Here we got the Fly Surfer leading. This could be Martin Pariente from France. He was doing very well yesterday also, getting 1 bullet, 3 second places, and a 6th position. And looks like behind him we have another Fly Surfer, possibly from Poland, Piotr Simiek, I think. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. Right. So while the Silver Fleet is racing, Right, I'm here with Markus Schwentner from the IKA. So a lot of people are always asking, Marcus, what is the IKA and what's their role in this sport?
Well, in world sailing, all the classes are organized in class associations, and because there are so many different kiteboarding equipment, foiling equipment, twin tips, freestyle wave, all of that, the IKA is more the body that holds it together. All of these classes are individual classes of world sailing, but we have one joint management. We have the national associations are our members, and we make sure that there's no overlaps between the different racing classes, between the Olympic racing class, the KiteFoil World Series, that the calendar is organized, and to keep everything together so that there's no clashes.
Big news in the last month, basically, that we have gotten an extra medal for kiting in the Olympics for France. Tell us about that.
Yeah, indeed. In 2018, we managed to get kiteboarding into the Olympics with a mixed relay format. It was pretty clear at that time there will be only one medal for kiteboarding, and how to make that the best way. And so the relay idea was going around for quite some time, so we worked on that, made it work, developed rules, developed formats and courses for it, and got that into the Olympics. One of the driving factors on that is that IOC is actually looking for different formats. At the moment, in the Olympic sailing competitions, we are doing 10 times the same thing, 10 times fleet racing with individual people or individual boats. And the formats like relay or match racing or team racing, that is what actually would distinguish the formats. So we developed that, and there was a lot of excitement. There's still a lot of excitement, as it's really a different format, and it really changes the dynamic of the strong countries versus the not so strong countries. The countries need to invest in women. It's not that they can focus just on the strong boys. If they want to win, they also need to develop the women, which is a good thing for the sport. And so that was that. Then a couple of months ago, the IOC rejected World Sailing's proposal for an offshore event in Paris. And suddenly there was an emergency situation where World Sailing needed to present an alternative event to secure their 10 medals in the Olympics. And after 2 months of discussion, World Sailing proposed then to say we split the easiest thing to do is to split the mixed kite relay into individual medals. It's like with a happy face and a sad face, because obviously no one is saying no to 2 medals. And for some countries it makes it easier. Let's say a small island country like Antigua with 100,000 people, you probably find one good boy or one good girl, but it's hard to find 2. So for them it becomes much easier. On the other hand, we are losing something really different and exciting, but there's a good chance that it will go back to that, because in the long term there will be other proposals for the Olympic sailing competitions, and it's quite likely that we will go back to relay in either 2028 in LA or 2032, wherever that will be.
Okay. So right after this event here in Italy, we have the Youth Worlds. Can you tell us a little bit about that competition?
Yeah, so Youth Worlds are combined for Formula Kite, which is the Olympic class. And that is under 19. Same equipment, exactly the same boards, exactly the same kites, registered series production equipment, but under 19. And we have like 20 plus boys and 20 plus girls in that range. And the other class that will be sailing is the new ACE Youth Foil class, which is strict one design equipment, which is aiming for under 17, under 15 competitors, which is less high performant. It's tube kite, so there's the safety aspect of when the wind is going down, that you can float on it. It's not so super fast as the adult equipment, and everyone is on the same. So that's the same success story as Techno 293 or Optimist as a pathway for the high performance KiteFoil class.
Okay. So last question, essentially, we are running sort of an open format here for the series, but for the Olympics, there's essentially the closed format, or sort of the box rule format that we're running with registered equipment. Can you explain a little bit how that works, and how many kites are the guys allowed to use? Does the equipment have to be registered?
Yeah, so for the Olympics, so far everything has been one design equipment. And in kiteboarding, we have been fighting from the very beginning, since the first attempts back in 2010 when we started our Olympic dream, to keep it open, to keep the industry involved, to let the competitors choose equipment from the free market. And different designs also allow different body weights. You can have equipment for lighter sailors, for heavier sailors, for bigger, taller, etc. So we have a range of from 60 kilo to 95, and some extremes like Benoit with 100 plus, and they all can fairly race together. And that's a big difference to the rest of the sailing program in the Olympics, which is strict one design. But to keep it completely open obviously doesn't work for the Olympics, because then it becomes an arms race, and the rich countries will build something special and they will invest millions on it to make something that's a little bit better. So there needed to be some limitations. So what we have now is that every brand in the world can register equipment once every 4 years, so for one Olympic cycle, and then the competitors can choose freely on what they want to race. Per competition, 4 kites in 4 size ranges, 1 board, 1 foil. The board is completely open, so that's more the customization factor. And apart from that, 1 foil which is registered series production, and 4 kites that are registered series production. In the World Series, what we're having here in Gizzeria now and in the next 4 stops, everyone can use whatever he wants, as much as he wants, including prototypes. You can come with 10 foils, 10 kites, whatever you want. So it's kind of an arms race, but the advantage is that it gives everyone who has second-hand equipment that's not registered, the chance to compete on a high level, and also to give the industry the chance to develop and test new equipment for the next Olympic cycle in a racing environment with the top guys. If you just go out testing with 1 or 2 of your team riders, then you get some feedback, but the real test is in competition. So that's what this series provides, and that's more like the Formula One, where it's open-end, and it's a little bit who has more equipment, who has more money, but it also helps the development, and we get, same as from Formula One, where it comes down to normal cars at some point, ABS and whatever. It ends up in the series production, what everyone can go and buy in the shop later on.
So on those closed events, how does the IKA check that all the kites are actually those registered production kites, and all those foils are those production kites? How does that done?
So during the registration process, we have we're getting about 50 measurements from every piece of equipment, from the kites, sail sizes, stitching sizes, the distances between bridle attachment points, etc. And on the foils, profile thickness, outlines, all of that. And we actually get 3D models from it. Plus, the manufacturers have to provide consignment items at the beginning of the registration process, which we keep, and those consignment items will go to the qualification events and to the Olympics, and then the equipment inspectors there can check exactly, put them next to each other, and then by the time the Olympics come, we probably do it with a 3D scanner, and then we can compare that. But with the amount of measurement points that we have already, we can do enough quick checks at the venue to ensure that it's the same as the production equipment.
And on a given event, how many kites is a rider allowed to register? And same thing, how many foils can they actually register?
So per event, it's 4 kites. It can be 15 and bigger, 11 to 15, 11 and smaller, and 9 and smaller on the kites. And that is to ensure that actually everyone has a full quiver to cover the full range of conditions. In the early days, we had people looking at the weather forecast the day before the event starts, register only big kites, 21, 19, 17, 15, and then suddenly a storm comes and they were like, oh, now we can't sail. So this ensures that we can cover the whole wind range from 6 to 35 knots or whatever it's blowing. And everyone basically has their standard quiver, and you don't need to have so many kites to choose from. And then it's 1 foil for the whole event, so it needs to be a foil that goes in light wind and strong wind, which is also good for the overall development for the normal people, for the normal kiters, because the range of usage of the equipment becomes much bigger. And one board, for the same reason, we don't want people to invest one specialized board for light wind, one specialized board for strong wind, etc., because that makes it more expensive.
And last question again about the IK. How are sort of the rules decided? If you have new rules, is it just a bunch, like a few people deciding, or do you involve the nation members? How does that work?
There's two different things. The one thing is class rules, which is the limitation of the equipment. And that is based on proposals from our members. Our members are the national kiteboarding associations, which are representing all the kiters in their country. And they can make proposals and say, okay, we want to change this. Then it goes to the AGM and gets voted on. And for the racing rules, it's a bit different. The racing rules are in the hand of World Sailing. And there's a working party for kiteboarding rules, there's a working party for windsurfing rules, and for a lot of other rules. And there are specialists that involve coaches, competitors, rules experts, and there it's discussed. But normally we take all of these proposals, we take back to the riders meetings that we do at the events, have a discussion, and obviously, you know, you will always have a different opinion here and there, but it's we get the feedback from the riders and then take it forward.
Okay, thank you, Markus Schwentner from the IKA. What exactly is your role at the IKA?
I'm the Secretary General. I do the day-to-day work, I do the event preparation, and at the events I go as technical delegate and make sure that the events are run as we think they should be run.
Okay, thank you very much. A lot of information. And our next race for the Gold Fleet will be starting in about 5 minutes, I think. So, let's get on there. So, in about 5 minutes, we're going to get the warning flag, which means about 8 minutes till the race starts. Silver Fleet are still actually finishing their race, but Gold Fleet are already preparing for race number 7, the second of today. So we can still see some finishers coming in from Silver Fleet. That's looking like Emil Beckett and Martin Pariente coming in. Looks like Emil Beckett took the first place on that. So at the moment we've got the Silver Fleet finishing their race number 6 and Gold Fleet heading out to get ready for race number 7 of their series, race number 2 from today. Have the result yet for gold? Or do we? No. I am. Oh. All right. Silver Fleet still finishing. So last race was won by Axel Mazella. For Theo Ramecourt, sorry, followed by Axel Mazella, and then by the Croatian Martin Dolenc. Theo is not having a very consistent race this time. He is currently in 6th place. He possibly could move up now to 5th place ahead of Nico with that bullet. Theo did extremely well at the Europeans, pretty much getting a completely clean sweep in Gran Canaria. We had very difficult conditions there, very tactical, very fast racing, which is what Theo does extremely well. Here, it's, at least the last few days, was slightly less tactical, but then we saw today where the wind got a bit shifty and tactics played a bit larger role than it did in the other days. Theo had an amazing race, finishing with a good margin. However, we're all waiting to see, once the results update, has Dennis Taradin managed to keep his lead in this race, in this regatta, or has Axel Mazella managed to overtake him with that second place? Axel has also been having a pretty good Gold Series racing with 2 bullets, 4 second places. So his average is actually very good. Dennis, slightly inconsistent, also with a retirement on race Gold 4 yesterday. It will be interesting to see. And also, Tony Vodicek still in 3rd place. I don't think there's been any change there. But he's also trying to get a bit more consistency. He's a lot stronger in stronger winds. So we will see what it's like. The wind has picked up slightly compared to before. This gusts around 13 knots now. It's a bit more consistent than in race 1. We will see how these riders are. We are in sequence now. 3 minutes to the start. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Or if you want, you can film the interview.
Oh, true.
That would be pretty cool, I guess.
Promoting the live as well.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, the results have been updated. So I'm going to have a look. So currently, overall gold, Axel Mazella with that 2nd place has managed to go equal points with Dennis Taradin. But why is Dennis Taradin 2nd if it's on equal points? That's because whoever wins the last race or is ahead in the last race of the person he's tied with is put out in front. Tony Vodicek still in 3rd place, but 17 points adrift of those 2 leaders. So it is a fight between Axel Mazella and Dennis Taradin. Dennis did not have a great race. He finished 8th. That result is discarded. However, he is now out of discards. If he makes another mistake, that could drop him down a little bit more. So, Dennis looking to find some bit more consistency today and see if he can overtake Axel Mazella again. It's all in it. Equal points. Theo's victory has put him still in 4th place. He's still in 4th place. It's brought him a bit closer to Tony, but he's still a good amount of points behind. I don't think he can catch him, but that's not going to stop Theo from pushing. In 5th place, Nicolas Parlier's pretty consistent with 46 points. If he does well, he could catch Theo, but Theo has the advantage in these type of conditions. 40 seconds to the start. And let's have a go. While we're waiting those 40 seconds, we'll just have a look at the women's. There's nothing changed there. Daniela Mulrose, followed by Ellie Aldridge, and in 3rd place, Katie Dapson. "20 seconds to the start. Looks like no one is going to try to start on port this time. Again, most likely, as Theo said, there's more wind on the outside, so they'll all be going for a longer starboard tack on leg 1. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Looks like we have clean start. First riders tacking out. Maxime, 2 orange ozones. Gray F1, Benoit Gomez. Axel Mazella's tacked out. Nico Parlier's tacked out. Okay, so the fleet pretty much split. Half the fleet on port now, heading to the headland. But the angle looks like they're going to hitting the beach a lot quicker. These guys are going to have to tack at least 2 more times. I don't think that was the right tactic to do. The rest of the fleet, a lot of the fly surfers are heading out on starboard into that stronger wind, as Theo said on the last race that the advantage was for those riders who went out into the ocean to the outside. The wind looks a little bit more sideshore than it was yesterday, so that means the riders who are on port will be hitting the beach a lot sooner, which means they will be forced to tack way before the ley line. So, here on the F1, we are looking at Benoit Gomez, followed by Axel Mazella there on the white ozone, Maxime Nochet. They're all pointing a bit higher, but they're all going to have to tack a lot sooner. Nico Paulier also on port. And here on the outside, we have almost only fly surfers. We got Theo, we have Martin Tolenk, Max Meter, Florian Gruber. It looks like the entire fly surfer team is on starboard still, searching for that wind on the outside. The guys who are on port have all tacked now. They're on starboard, heading out. We have Axel Mazella. We have Nico Parlier, Benoit Gomez. It'll be interesting to see which tactic pays off. The guys who have headed out on starboard and gone for that long tack, they're probably going to be hitting the weather mark and tacking close to the weather mark, having the advantage. But we will have to see when that actually happens, when those 2 parts of the fleet cross, who has chosen the correct tactic. We're going to take a short break.
DR5, built to win.
All right, we're back. All right. It is looking very interesting here. The starboard fleet has tacked. They are approaching the weather mark. We are seeing the fleets cross at the moment. Looks like we have a bit of a butt check, but no crash from Axel Mazella. So we will have those guys rounding the weather mark. Looks like those guys that started on or tacked into port early have the advantage. But here we have, looks like Theo de Ramicourt tacking in front of the fleet. Right, we are going to have to see once the referee boat tells us who's out in front. Here we go. It's tight. So, looks like the ozone from Axel Mazella in first, followed by black ozone. Dennis Taradin in second, followed by Connor. So we have Axel Mazella, followed by Dennis Taradin, followed by Connor Bainbridge, followed by Max and Maxime, Tony and Martin. It's very tight between Axel and Dennis at the moment. Those are the two leaders of the race, or the regatta at the moment. Both tied, equal points. So these guys will be giving each other no quarter. It is up for first place. So we're seeing it up for the first, both tied in points. Dennis Taradin, Axel Mazella, both on Ozone kites, both on Chubanga foils. Pretty much virtually the same equipment. Axel Mazella is the slightly lighter rider. Dennis Taradin, the heavier rider. Who will have the advantage here? Strength and power, or finesse and tactics? It looks like Dennis has a slight advantage at the moment. Axel, little bit lower than him. It will be very obvious once they jibe who will be in the lead. Just heard from the judges. Connor has been disqualified. He was probably over early at the start. So let's see here. Dennis and Axel on the downwind. They're going to have to be... I'm not sure they're going to need another jibe. It looks like they're actually going to make it through the gate without having to jibe one more time. That would give... Now they're jibing. So there's going to be two more jibes probably if they're going to come to the inside, or they're going to head out to the outside. I would hazard the guess that they're going to head back outside because that will give them the advantage of having one less tack to deal with. So here we go. Axel Mazella on the white kite. On the black kite, Dennis Taradin. It is super close. Axel going for another jibe. Same thing. Dennis Taradin covering him. Dennis Taradin still in the lead. So they will be coming back in on port towards the beach. They're going to be following the same tactic they did on the first leg. Then following them, Tony Vodicek on the white ozone. Connor Bainbridge still in that group, but he is UFD. He is not actually going to get any points from this race. So, Dennis Taradin currently leading ahead of Axel Mazella on the white ozone, followed by Tony Vodicek in third. So pretty much we have 1, 2, and 3 on the leaderboard. 1, 2, and 3 in this race. We have the gray ozone right behind them. The gray F1 right behind them. That is Connor, but he has been disqualified, so he will not be getting that 4th place, even if he keeps it. So while we wait for the riders to get to their first tack, let's have a short break. All right, we have a tangle with an ozone and a fly surfer at the gate. I'm trying to find out who those are. It's too far away to tell. But those guys are really nicely tangled up. That's going to take some time for them to get apart. Actually, the way it looks, it's Teo Lostis' kite. So it's Teo Lostis involved in that tangle from Tahiti. Here we have Dennis, who's tacked already. Axel, tack 2. At the moment, Axel has managed to catch up a little bit, getting a bit more upwind angle on Dennis. Dennis is still higher up, but Axel has gotten ahead of him a little bit. This is still wide open. Any small mistake by any of these riders will gift the win to the other. Axel being very consistent, making very few mistakes. Dennis, under pressure, has made 1 or 2 mistakes in this race series. So let's see if he keeps it up. Looks like Dennis is just keeping his kite over Axel. It's closing. The gap is very small between these two riders. Question is, Have they managed to hit the ley line, or are both going to need to tack? One more time. Dennis trying to get a bit more speed, trying to get a bit more ahead of Axel, but Axel slightly higher up in the wind. It's very, very tight. It's very difficult to see. Black ozone, white helmet. That is Dennis Taradin. Behind him, Axel Mazella. We just saw a bit of a water contact, a bit of a butt check from Axel on the white ozone. That would have cost him maybe 1 meter. We have a nice shot from the drone landing here. So, let's see. Who's it going to be? Axel or Dennis Taradin? Who's going to be rounding the weather mark first? My question is, are they high enough up? Are they on the ley line? Or will they have to tack again? Here we go. There's the weather mark. Looks like Dennis is ahead. Pumping a little bit. Is not sure. Is he going to make it around the mark in one? Yes, he has. Just about scraping around. Axel getting it a bit better. Axel having more height there. Dennis took a risk there, going for a bit more speed and less angle, but he has made it around. Look how close those two guys are. There's nothing in it. Going for the jibe. Axel staying on it. Yesterday, Axel went for the same tactic, going for a bit of a longer run before jibing. Dennis has gone for the earlier jibe. Axel staying on. He will jibe later. Let's see which one of these guys has chosen the right tactic on the downwind. So they are currently split. Let's see what happens once they come back together after Axel jibes. And Dennis goes for his second jibe. Axel goes for his jibe. Clean around. All right, Axel looks like he's going to make the gate in one. What is Dennis going to do? Dennis is actually going to have to jibe twice to hit that gate. I can't actually see Dennis at the moment. What has happened? Alex Marcella out in front, very clear. Down here, coming close to the beach, Dennis Taradin. Axel will manage to probably hit the gate without having to jibe. Dennis is going to have to jibe 2 more times. Let's see who has the advantage. But personally, I think that Dennis has made a tactical mistake. Dennis is jibing now. Axel still not jibed. Looks like he will hit that gate in one. But we have Dennis approaching from the bottom now. Dennis on starboard. Axel Mazzella on port. They are going to be crossing each other very shortly. Who will be out in front? Who took the right advantage here? Here we go. Axel, Dennis. Dennis has to jibe one more time. Dennis jibing. Dennis is just behind Axel at the moment. Axel's gamble has paid off. But it is super close. Axel's maybe gained not even, 1.5 seconds. All right, through the gate. Axel, through the gate. Dennis heading to the finish. This is going to decide who's going to be leading now. So, both fast, putting the hammers down. Who's going to be first through the finishing line? Looks like Axel is ahead. I think Dennis taking no risks. Dennis has backed off completely. Dennis is not taking any risks. It's going to let Axel take it. So Axel Mazella keeping first place, followed by Dennis Taradin. I don't understand why he backed off there. And coming in on third place, Tony Vodicek. So we pretty much have the top three defending their places. Axel Mazella in first, Dennis Taradin second, third, Tony Vodicek. In fourth, Connor Bainbridge, but he has been disqualified. Let's take a small break and we'll do some interviews. Oh, Connor got disqualified. What? Okay. Here, Vodicek. Whoa. Reiko, can you move to the camera? Okay, so I'm here with Vodicek. You got third place, right?
Hello everyone, just keeping it constant. I'm racing with everybody else. Hope they're tired because I'm beat. And yeah, one more go. Good luck to everyone and let's send it.
Thanks. Okay, so Tony having a pretty good race, managing to defend his third place. I don't think that's going to be changing anything there. But Axel Mazella moving at least 1 point ahead of Dennis Taradin. I would actually love to talk to Dennis and ask him about why he backed off there and let Axel win it. Was it just not taking any risks, or if something else happened? Maybe we can interview him on the next one. Let's have a look at the highlights. So here we have the start. Here we have a bit of a crash and a butt check. But here we have the fleet heading up to the weather mark. The rest of the fleet crossing. It was very close at the top mark. But Axel Mazella rounding first on leg one, followed closely by Dennis Taradin. Both of them battling hard through the entire race. You can see here at the bottom of the gate, both riders not giving any quarter. Dennis managing to keep his lead at the bottom as they pass through the gate. Also Dennis managing just to stay ahead here. We can see Dennis pumping around the weather mark, almost not making it, just barely scraping past it. with Axel hot on his heels. And here's what won it for Axel. Dennis going for an early jibe, Axel continuing on the outside, basically going for one less jibe. And it paid off for him because at the mark, at the bottom of the gate, Axel had managed to get a good 10-meter lead on Dennis. Dennis taking no risks, not pushing it on the reach to the finish, giving Axel a pretty easy win. So, I've got with me here Stan Koisch from Switzerland. He is a bit of an expert in the field of KiteFoil racing. He has his own brand SK Shapes, which makes kite bars, kite lines, and quick releases and other accessories. He's very involved with a lot of the European riders here, especially with Fly Surfer and so on, and a bit with Levitas. So, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Hi guys, welcome from my side as well. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for introducing. And yeah, as you already mentioned, I do like accessory and kind of high-end kite products for the top guys, and most of them are my friends, and I have some background knowledge and know a little bit more about what they're using and a little bit technical stuff. Yes.
Yep. So, tell us a little bit more about the equipment in general. So, what makes sort of a racing kite different from your everyday normal kite surfing kite?
As you maybe already see that we all use the Remer kites, which is super similar to a paraglider. It's not like the commercial tube kites, which are like not as efficient as the Remer kite. The tube kites are heavier, they're not that efficient, and further on we have thinner lines, shorter lines, which reduce the drag, and we can point more upwind and go more downwind, especially when everything is so efficient. With the hydrofoils, you need to gain everywhere a little bit of performance.
Okay. So you're saying about lines. How short are the lines that the guys are using?
Normally they are between 10 and 13 meters. They are on the back lines about from 1.1 to 1.3 millimeters, and on the front 1.1 to 1.5, and they have braking strengths between 300 and 500 kilogram.
Okay. So what's the advantage of using such short lines? I mean, normal kites are usually between 20, 25 meters long. So why are these riders on basically half that?
So basically, when you reduce the length of the lines, you have less surface area from the lines, which is also less drag. And when you have less drag, the kite will go more to the wind window, so you can go on higher angle upwind. The other advantage is when you have shorter lines, the kite will fly not as long in the wind window. The complete wind window is smaller, and you will have a higher high end. You can hold these bigger kites in stronger wind, which is super important for us. We want to have a very big kite for the downwind. We want to have as much surface area as possible for the downwind, so we can go super deep and fast. But for the upwind, we want to keep we want to increase the high end. We want to hold big kites for the upwind. So with shorter line, we decrease the high end of the kites, and that's actually the two major points of having shorter lines. Also, for tags and jibing, all the maneuvers are so much faster, and that's what counts. We have maybe 10 meters per second in the upwind speed, a little bit more. So imagine if you are 1 second slower in attack, you lose 10 meters, which is a lot in this level.
Exactly. So these kites have a lot of lines, as I keep being told. The rest of us call them bridles. But can these kites be tuned, or are they sort of fixed in their performance?
Actually, last year when we have to register the kites for the Olympics, they registered also the bridles, the attachment point from the bridles, so they're kind of fixed. But we have also the possibility to change the bridles, but we need to re-register them again and make them for everybody available. So we have the chance to tune a little bit on the bridles, but this changed a lot in the performance. So when you just maybe shorten a few centimeters, or let's say 5 to 10 millimeters of the bridle lines, you can have a complete different kite, and it's always a matter of like finding a balance between going good upwind or going also good downwind. So the performance of the complete course is important, and not just like for the upwind.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about the bars. I mean, you know quite a lot about it. Quite a lot of the riders out on there are using your race bar. So what makes a difference between like a carbon race bar and a normal sort of kite surfing bar that a normal rider would use?
Yeah, in general, it's not just all about the bar, the stick. It's more about the complete rigging. You really want to have like your personal customized setup. Not every rider is the same size and the same riding size. They want to have like longer distance to power and depower the kite. Some are taller, some are a little bit smaller. So we really need to customize them for every individual rider. And also on top of this, we have different riding styles, different personal requirements. And yeah, it's the setting of the whole trim system, and just the bar stick. When it's in carbon, it's so much more direct. You feel so much more connected to the kite. And for me, I always, if someone asks me what's the difference between like a customized high-end bar, it's more, you cannot measure the performance. You cannot compare it with a commercial bar, because you cannot see what's faster and what not. It's physically really hard to judge. On a foil and on a kite, you really can do some measurements and some lab and field tests, and then you see, okay, this one is 2% faster than the other one. But on bar, it's really hard to do this calculation. But imagine you have like a racing car, you have a really big engine, a really strong engine, but then you have a square steering wheel. You cannot adapt to the performance. But the bar is your cockpit, and this, if you don't have a nice cockpit, you cannot get the performance, like all the performance out of this high-end equipment.
So it's mainly about comfort and feel.
Yeah, you just need to have like how you can get all the performance out of your equipment, and you really want to have everything customized how you like it, and every rider have some different requirements.
Okay. So harnesses. What type of harnesses are the riders using? Are any of them still using waist harness, or is everybody on seat?
Everybody is on seat harness, especially because we want to have the point of gravity super low, and we need to press a lot with our legs, and this is so much easier to have the point of gravity a little bit lower in the area of your butt, so you can really press hard on the upwind. Also, you put the complete system, like the bar system, closer to your body, and when everything is closer to your body, you can extend the depower travel throw, and when you can increase the depower throw, you can depower the kite so much easier without trimming the front lines. And yeah, in like normal kite surfing, twin tipping, surfing in waves with the kite, you like the majority, I would say 90% of the people have the waist harness, but in racing we really stick to the seat harness.
Okay, so let's talk a little about boards and foils. We seeing here Chubanga and Levitas. Not seeing too many other brands. I know you work with Levitas quite a bit. I mean, what makes a good race foil?
A good race foil is for sure something which is super stable and fast, and like if you just calculate everything and you have on the computer the fastest foil, it can also be, when you're testing it on the water, it's not the fastest, because you really need to be comfortable on the foil as well. So we tested quite a lot of foils which were on the computer in the simulation like the fastest foil, the most efficient one, but then it was really hard to race with them, especially when you have different water, you have current, you have some seaweed, some plastic bags, and as soon as it's not so accessible, then it's really hard to get the full performance of the foil. So in the end, it's important that you have a fast, really efficient foil, but still easy to ride, especially on the downwind when you go on speed up to 40 knots. You really want to feel comfortable. Back in the days, I had super fast foils, but I couldn't do my personal record because I didn't felt so comfortable. As soon as you feel comfortable, you can push really hard, and yeah, that's that.
Makes sense. You see quite a lot of the riders here in the mornings washing their foils, sanding their foils, cleaning them with soap and water, cleaning them with alcohol. Why do those guys do that?
Yeah, it's really, really important for us that the foil cuts really good through the water, and that there is no kind of imperfection in the foil, no scratches. Otherwise, there will stick some air on the foil in the holes, and as soon as these air bubbles go down to the wing, which generate the lift, we will have a stall of the wing, and this we call actually ventilations, and that's probably the issue we are all dealing with. I would also say you can train a lot at home, at your home spot, prepare your foil perfectly, and you're feeling really comfortable on the foil, and then you go to a new spot, a new venue, and you try your foil and it's not working, and it's so hard to judge what are the parameters, what is different compared to your spot where you felt comfortable. And I think it's a lot in water temperature and current, and also how much salt is in the water. In fresh water it's completely different, you have less lift. There could also be more dirt because there is a river going into the water. It's really hard to just judge the water quality before you rode it. And yeah, in general we just make some structure with sandpaper. We're using between 800 to 5,000 grit sandpaper, and in the end there's also some secrets from few riders and some different techniques. Sometimes we think, okay, now we have the key, the solution, which is the perfect structure of the foil, and after a couple of weeks we go to the next spot and it's completely different. There is no science yet which prove which is the best technique to sand and polish and clean your foil, but so far we are already quite experienced and we know how to prepare the foils for our riders.
That's good to hear. So, is there any other things you can do on the foils to tune them?
Yeah, there are a couple of foils. They have the possibility to change the angle of the back wing. There's also possibilities to change the angle between the mast and the glider, and there's you can have a foil, you can adjust the foil to different conditions. So when it's really challenging and hard to ride, you want to have a super stable foil, then you put a little bit more angle of attack of the back wing, then it's a little bit slower but a lot easier to ride with. And yeah, that's actually what you can change with the foil. There's some other things you can change with the board, the attachment point between board and the foil, the foil box in the board, you can change the angle there. You can have different board sizes, foot strap position, and yeah, it gets really technical, and I would say it's too many information for the moment.
Exactly. All right, so last question for you. Who do you think is going to win, Axel or Dennis?
I'm really, really impressed from the performance from Dennis the last few days. Yesterday, Axel could close a little bit the gap, and I think it's either Axel or Dennis who win the event, and I think Tony will get the third place. So I'm not sure about the first and second place.
Okay, thanks for your time. It was very informative.
Thank you for you.
I think you need to get the guy back to work because Gold Fleet next race will be starting soon. All right, welcome back. We're in a bit of a delay. So let's have a look at what happened on day 1 and day 2.
It's going to be so good. Everybody's super pumped to be out on the course. We're all going to be lining up, ready to go. Everybody's going to be going so fast, putting everything they have into it, 100%.
Yeah, I'm super happy with how today went. I've been working on some specific things, more on the strategy and tactic side of racing. So I was practicing those today and it went really well and I was really happy with that. And yeah, the rest of this week, just keep doing the same thing, trying to improve day by day and race by race and yeah, have a fun time.
So no, it's really nice to be back on the game, and yeah, I was not expecting this on the first day. I had some really good starts. I had a nice sport tag start and some nice decision around the course. So yeah, it felt pretty nice.
All right, we're still in a bit of a delay here, so let's have a look at the results. So currently, don't know why my results are not showing up. Hold on. So currently, leading by 1 point, Axel Mazella from France, who won the last race, ahead of Denis Taradin, 1 point behind. He came in second. Holding in third place, and pretty safe in third place, Tony Vodicek. Theo de Ramacour in fourth. Connor Bainbridge in fifth. Although that last result, fourth place, is probably not correct, because I heard that he had an over early and was disqualified. In the women's, no big change. Daniela Moroz in first place, followed by Poema Newland, and third place, Ellie Aldridge. In the use, if these results are correct, first place, Riccardo Pianossi, who had an amazing race, was a 10th place point, is in first place, followed by Max Smeater from Singapore with 88 points, followed in third place by Arthur Les. Masters, changed. Ejder Guignol from Turkey, first place. But moving up at the second place now, Valerio Venturi, the Italian, in second place now, taking advantage of the fact that James Johnson has dropped out of the race. So, let's have a short ad and we'll go back to the racing. It's a bit weird. All right. How long till we start? Okay. Yeah. All right, we are up. So we still have a bit of a delay. The mark boats are resetting the course. So we are going to have a bit of a recap of what happened on day number 2.
Today looks amazing. Behind me the wind is already in, and I think we got some really good racing, a bit more than yesterday with the wind. I think maybe on 50-meter kites, and yeah, it's going to be really intense, and I think with full power.
Since the beginning of the event, I feel so great. Like I'm not crashing. I'm doing my best, and I enjoyed every races, and I think that's why I had good races.
Today we had 6 races. I was really tight with Axel Mazella every single race. Didn't crash even one time, so I think consistency what brought me to the top. Although there's lots of mistakes on the course, doing wind shifts, it's a bit challenging, still lots to work on and improve on.
This sport is not only for adults, but it's for the youth as well, because it requires not strength, but it requires technique and it requires strategy. It's really, really fun.
Today looks amazing. Behind me the wind is already in, and I think we got some really good racing, a bit more than yesterday with the wind. I think maybe on 50-meter kites, and yeah, it's going to be really intense, and I think with full power.
All right, welcome back. We are in sequence now. In about 7 minutes, we will be starting third race of today for Gold Fleet, race number 8. Currently leading, we have Axel Mazella from France. Sorry, my overlay's not working the way I want it to. So, Here we have Axel Mazzella from France, the 2019 KiteFoil World Series champion, currently leading in front of Dennis Taradin by 1 point. Dennis Taradin currently in second. It was a bit weird. He backed off, letting Axel win at the finishing line. Don't know if he did that to make sure that nothing went wrong, because obviously at those speeds, when they're pushing each other hard through the finishing line, crashes can happen, and he didn't want to risk losing valuable points. Behind them is Tony Vodicek from Slovenia. Last year, he blitzed almost the entire series until the last event, where as he was leading, he had a horrible crash, injuring his shoulder, and was not able to continue. So big things here. He is in third place. He should be able to keep that podium place no matter what. It is, however, very doubtful that he will get enough points to catch either Axel or Dennis to move up. So we're about 5 minutes from the start. We're going to take a small break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. 4 minutes to go for the start of Gold Fleet race number 3, the last race of the series. Can Dennis Taradin make any difference? The wind is a little bit more than before. We have gusts up to 17 knots here on the beach. However, we have lulls down to 6 knots. The riders will probably be still on their bigger kites, like 21s or 18s. This is the last chance for Dennis to do something, or else Axel Mazzella will be crowned the winner of the first act of the KiteFoil World Series 2021 here in Gizzeria, Italy.
DR5, built to win.
All right, 3.5 minutes to the start. At the moment, if we're looking at the manufacturer rankings, it's looking very good for Ozone. Ozone getting top 1, 2, and 3 places. And Chubanga also doing very well. Chubanga have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 10 compared to the 4 for Levitas. Fly Surfer are doing extremely well too in the manufacturers. They have 1, 2, 3 riders in the top 10, and Flymax and F1 respectively 1 rider each in the top 10. We are running course LP2, which is upwind. It's 1.25 nautical miles at the moment. Counterclockwise rounding through a gate, either port or starboard, back up, rounding the upwind mark again, through the gate, and a long fast reach to the finishing line. So this will be the last race we're going to do today for the Gold Fleet. All in it for Axel and Dennis, 1 point apart. Whoever wins this next one has the chance of winning this series. So it's going to be very exciting to see what happens with Dennis and Axel. Axel will be on his white ozone. Dennis will be on his black ozone. Dennis white helmet, and Axel Mazzella with a red helmet. It will be very, very hard battling from both of those. All they really have to do is fight each other. Tony just has to have a normal result, not lose 8 places to Theo, and he will keep his 3rd place. When it comes to women's, Daniela Moroz is sitting pretty in 1st place. No chance for Ellie or for Poema to catch her. Poema and Ellie also pretty close, but we don't foresee any changes there. All 3 women there racing in the gold fleet. The women's fleet has been doing extremely well. They have 3 women in the top 10 of the silver fleet, and we have 4 or 5 women in the gold fleet. So, women trading blows with the men almost just as fast. It's amazing to see that equality in this sport. So, 50 seconds to go for the start. Looks like we have some of the riders setting up for port start. However, most of the fleet going for starboard. The course has shifted as the wind has picked it up. It's actually even more sideshore now, so the port tack starters are, in my opinion, a bit of an advantage as they have less distance to cover before they are forced to tack. They will have to tack more times than the rest of the fleet that will go out on starboard. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Looks like only... Ooh, it's close for the Partek fleet. No, only... Oh, is anyone? No, none of the port starters have managed to go over the fleet. Was pretty obvious, but you have to go for a risk sometimes. We have early tackers out of the starboard fleet. We have Taylor Ramicourt, Maxime Nochet, Max Zakowski, Tony Vodicek, Lorenzo Bocchetti, all heading out towards the beach at the moment. They went for early tacks out of the fleet. The rest of the fleet tacked a bit later or are still heading out on starboard. Big question is, where are Dennis Taradin and where are Axel Mazzella? Looks like Axel is a little bit farther out, but quite a bit behind. Where are they? I've seen Nicolas Parlier. Where is Axel Mazzella? Where is Dennis Taradin? Alright, I have found Dennis Taradin and Nicolas Parlier battling it out. They're quite high up. They went for a longer starboard tack. I don't see Axel. Be interesting to see where he is. I'm not sure if he changed kite. I think I see Axel. He looks like he is ahead of Dennis. We'll have to see after the tack and after they come around the weather mark if that actually is him. If he's also changed to a black kite. Right, here we see how close these riders are, how close they are to the beach. The headland there forcing them into early tacks. If I'm right, that black kite, a little bit higher up, right on top of the fleet, is Axel Mazzella. And tacking now, Dennis Taradin. It's very difficult to tell just from the kite colors because There's no other identifying marks at this distance. We will have to see what the referees at the upwind mark tell us who is leading. Sorry that the drone transmission is breaking up a little bit here. There's a lot of interference here in Gizzeria, making it very difficult to transmit the footage back to the drones. So here we have Tony Vodicek in view. He went for an early tack. That's why he looks like he's quite far in front of the fleet. But a lot of the fleet who were on starboard, they went out a lot more distance. They managed to go along the headland, along the beach a lot more before attack. Here we go. Tony tacking, trying to get to the ley line. Let's see where he crosses with the fleet. If he can stay on top of it, or if the rest of the fleet will be faster than him on the ley line. Here we have Tony coming across the fleet. He looks like he's in third or fourth or fifth. Bit out of focus. All right, let's see who's coming around the weather mark. That flag in the way so he can't tell what's going on. Right, Black Kite. Who is that? Who is that? Going for an early jibe. I would hazard a guess that that is Axel Mazella. Just judging from the way the helmet looks. And we're getting some results in now. Mario Calbucci in the lead. The Italian hero, followed by and then okay, so top three are currently Mario Calbucci on the Black Ozone, followed by Martin Dolenc. Then followed by Max Sakowski from Poland. Then followed by Maxime Nochet, Benoit Gomez, and then Tony Vodicek. But what we really want to know is, where are Dennis and Alex in all this? So let's see. Mario Calbucci currently leading the fleet with the Black Ozone, followed by Martin Dolenc. He had a really good race on the first race today, leading most of it, but in the end having to give up his first position to his teammate Theodor Ramacour, who did an excellent technical battle and managed to catch him. But now he has a good chance of keeping that second place, or even maybe taking Mario Calbucci on leg 2. Here we go, attacking. We see Maxime Nochet. Right. Here we have, close to the beach now, Connor Bainbridge, Maxime Nochet on that bottom fleet. And on the outside, we have Mario Calbucci and Martin Dolenc. Let's see when these two parts of the fleet cross each other. Well, it's looking like guys who went for 2 jibes now at the moment have the advantage and can hit that gate if they're heading out to the outside a bit early. Here we have Maxime Nochet, followed by Black Ozone. Who is that on the Black Ozone? Could that be Axel Mazella? And it is. It's Mario. Mario managing to stay in front ahead of Maxime Nochet, followed by Max Sakowski in third, and Martin Dolenc. Right, Max Sakowski gone for his jibe. Maxime gone for his jibe. Mario Calbucci also jibed, and they're all heading back in towards the beach. Whoa, overtaking by Martin, but being forced out wide. Maxime keeping it together, staying in second. Max Sakowski in third. Janis Mouse heading onto the outside. Connor Bainbridge behind Max Sakowski. And here behind them we have Dennis Taladin and Axel Mazella neck and neck. Two black ozones. White helmet from Dennis Taradin. Red helmet from Axel Mazella. Those two black kites right there. Right. We're going to try to focus on Axel and Dennis, because this is where the battle for first and second place for the entire regatta is. But we're currently still with the leaders. Okay, we still have very interesting racing. Mario Calbucci out in front. But Dennis and Axel Mazella neck in neck. It's between those two riders. Whoever wins this next race is 100% gonna win this regatta. Of course, it comes down, if there's a tie between Axel and Dennis, it will be the rider with the most wins. So let's have a look what will happen in the end. If we have a look at the overall gold, Axel Mazella 1 point ahead of Dennis Taradin. Just trying to count together. Axel Mazella has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullets. And Dennis Taradin has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullets. So if Dennis manages to beat Axel in this race, Dennis would win this regatta. However, if Axel wins this, he is the champion for this event. So it is up to, oh, we have a crash. Who is that? In front of Tony Vodicek. Black. Was that Mario that just crashed? No, Mario's still up front. Who just crashed? Which one of those ozones is that? Was it one of the black ozones? We'll have to see. I want to see if we can find Dennis and Axel again. But I'm pretty sure that is not Axel who crashed there. No, it's White. That's I think that's Connor who crashed, okay? Right. Here we have White ozone of Tony Vodicek. And now we're looking for that battle between between Dennis and Axel. Just having a bit of trouble finding them on the course. The fleet is starting to approach the weather mark. I've got my binoculars at the moment. I'm trying to find Axel Mazella. I'm trying to find Dennis Taradin. There. I think I found Axel. Where's Dennis? Looks like Dennis is actually ahead of Axel at the moment. I'm not sure if we have this on camera, but I can see it through my binoculars. We'll see once they get around the mark. So first around the mark, actually, looks like Maxime Nochet, Mario, a black ozone. Who is that black ozone? It's Dennis Taradin. Dennis Taradin is ahead of Axel Mazella. And there's one guy between them. So this is going to be interesting. If Dennis manages to hold this lead over Axel, he will be the winner of this regatta. However, if Axel manages to catch him, Axel will be champion. All right, then we see, it looks like Axel.
Axel. So as long as the orange stays between the two blacks, he will get him.
Get him anyway. He's got more. He's got more.
Yeah, he just needs 1 point.
Yeah, and he has two more bullets. So here we go. Axel going for, or is that Mario? Not. That's Mario in view, going for his jibe. It's quite exciting. So, currently leading Maxime Nochet. But behind them is the battle for first place for this regatta. Dennis Taradin and Axel Mazella. Axel has managed to catch up to Dennis. It's close. Oh man, this is close. So Maxime Maksakovsky looks like Dennis Taradin, and right on his heels Mario Kabuchi, but where is Axel? Axel going for a tactic. Axel's gone more to the outside. Yeah, Axel is coming from the outside. Will that tactic work this time? The wind has shifted. I'm not sure that will work. So here you go. There's Axel. No, Axel has not made it in front. Dennis is still ahead with 2 people between him and Axel. Group goes into a jibe now. Are they still ahead, or is Axel going to manage to go past them? Axel has the advantage of speed, carrying through. Right, Maxime is about to round the gate. Maxime's around, followed by Dennis, Max. Right, Maxime has got this, but is it going to be Dennis, or is it going to be Axel? Right, Dennis currently in second place. Behind him looks like Mario Kabuchi, and also right behind them Maksakowski. And it looks like Dennis Taradin has done it. He's won. Excellent. I don't think I can actually get him to come here. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can.
DR5, built to win.
Wow, exciting race. We're currently waiting to see if we can get Dennis Taradin to come here. It looks like he has won the event. He's tied on points now with Axel Mazella. He has more bullets, which, according to the rules, will be the difference. Don't know if we can have Marina come up here and explain how that works. Marina is the head judge here, so she's obviously the best person to come up and explain how, in this case, it is counted and who the winner will be. Oh, where did our second mic? Ah, there it is. Hi, Marina. So, how's this going to work? Dennis and Axel are now tied.
So they are on equal points. The one that has more, that gets best places wins. So whoever has more firsts wins if they have the same first, the one that has more seconds, and so on. And if they have all races the same, then the one that got the best score on the last race. But how is it? How does the leaderboard
Okay,
look?
so Axel Mazzella has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullets. Dennis has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and including this one, 9 bullets.
But it's not a bullet, the one he got on the last race, right?
That's true. He finished 1 ahead. So, but still, he has 4 more bullets than
So
Axel.
they're on equal points, and Dennis has more wins, so Dennis should be ahead.
Cool. So let's see if we manage to get Dennis down here for an interview. Join us shortly. That was good. What? Back off in the last one. You'd let back. Okay. Yeah, let me do him first. Another. Yes. All right, here we have Dennis Taradin. I think he's pretty happy. It looks like he probably won. So tell us how it went. It was exciting.
I've the result for the last race, and it's a point difference with Axel. I have more first places, so it was a race for all the marbles. One place would win the whole event. Now, to everyone who wins the last race wins the event, and that's wow, I'm excited and very excited. First time big win in life, and yeah, definitely lots of work. We started 19th today. I'm not such twin because I think living tree in the course because I have a wind. It's mostly strong, especially in summer. When I was in water like 21 days, I think I took my 19 one time for half an hour, and that was 11, 9 winging. So pretty excited overall, and I'm just happy. Yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Excellent. Well done, and we'll probably see you up on the prize giving.
Yes, thank you.
Meet the R1V4, our highest performance Olympic and IKA registered racing machine.
All right, I'm here with Tony Vodicek from Slovenia. Hold on, that kite's about to fall on us. And looks like you kept your third place. So tell us, how was the competition for you?
I'm super stoked about keeping the third place. The competition was very fun. It was like brings. How do I say this? Brought up. Yeah, you see, this guy knows English. It brought up a lot of memories from 2 years ago, but I have to say I wasn't training much this year. And this competition, my head wasn't in the game. I've been thinking about one girl at home. And if she sees this, I hope you know who you are. So yeah, congrats to everybody else. Congrats to Dennis, congrats to Axel. And it was a blast having you guys here. Hope to see you next year.
Cool. Well, let's go back and have a look at some highlights. So, exciting racing down to the last race to decide who wins this regatta, this race. That's how it should be. Let's have a look at the highlights of that last race. Here we have the start. We had some guys trying to start from port, but it didn't work out for them. None of those port starters actually managed to get over the fleet, all having to tack out to be safe. Most of the fleet tacking off the fleet early to get to that mark. Here we have the first rounding, where we had local hero Mario Calbucci actually rounding the mark first. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to hold his lead. He managed to hold it around the gate. However, by the time we got back up to the weather mark, Maxime Nochet had managed to get himself to the front of the fleet. Here we see bottom of the fleet coming up to the thing. We have a crash here by Connor Bainbridge. Probably a plastic bag causing a bit of ventilation. And here we had Maxime, after a hard battle, coming around first at the top of the mark, followed by Mario Calbucci and Martin Dolenk. But then, right at the end, Maxime being ahead, but behind him, Dennis Taladin, Axel Mazella, and Max Zakowski. And the battle, obviously, for who wins this event was Dennis Taladin and Axel Mazella. And here we have Dennis Taladin and Axel pushing hard, but down to the wire in the end. Dennis Taladin finished second in this race, taking the points he needed. And with him having the most bullets out of the two, probably being the winner, first place here in Gizzeria, Italy. Thank you so much for watching. Next week will be the Youth Worlds for Formula Kite and for kite foiling. Here's a trailer.
This sport is not only for adults, but it's for the youth as well, because it requires not strength, but it requires technique and it requires strategy. It's really, really fun.